Man, oh man, yesterday we made a video talking about the Red Wings and the big, bad, mean, lean German machine, Moritz Seider, and how, after coming off a Calder Trophy victory last season, he may have a chance to go out there this season and contend for the Norris Trophy instead. Well, let's make a video instead on today's episode about somebody else on the team who happens to also be a big, lean, mean Swedish machine instead. We're talking about a guy who's been mentioned a ton on the channel over the past few years because of the novelty of his player profile. It is none other than Elmer Soderblom, and we'll be talking about whether or not he actually has a legit chance at being a Calder Contender in 22-23. Now, I just want to start off the video right off the bat, not get into any intricate analysis or details or whatever. I am ecstatic to see Soderblom actually being given an opportunity to not only participate in NHL action immediately after coming over from Sweden, but be able to do so in the fashion that he has been given. He's on a line with Oskar Sundqvist and Michael Rasmussen. What's the name of that line? The Soda Ras Sunny, or no, it's like the Sunny Rasp Soda line, something like that. It's kind of a play on words with the drinks that you'll normally get in the grocery store, but Rasmussen, Soderblom, and Sundqvist, this is a big line. I think they average like 6'6", 200-something pounds. Like, if you're 6'3", and you're on the D pairing with that Seider line out there, you're one of the smaller guys, and that's kind of funny. But either way, Soderblom has not only started in the NHL, but he's being put in a position to succeed with some players that can really help him round out the big qualities to his game. If you don't know, Soderblom was a 6th-round pick back in the 2019 draft, so he was drafted 3 years ago in a position at 159th overall where you rarely see NHL players ever get selected from. You almost never see it. So the fact, firstly, that he was a 6th-round pick that is now in the National Hockey League after only 3 seasons, that in and of itself, isolated with no other context, is amazing. And then you add the fact that Soderblom is 6'8". I was kind of ticked off for a short second because with Zdeno Chara retiring from this summer, with the departure of Chara, I believe Tyler Myers on the Vancouver Canucks at 6'7" was the tallest player in the NHL for what a lot of people thought would be a while. And then Soderblom came over here. Actually, I guess Tyler Myers is still the tallest player because he's at 203 centimeters on Elite Prospect. Soderblom is listed at 202. So a difference in 1 centimeter between these guys. That's crazy, but still, Elmer Soderblom is a big dude that was really, really strong as a player. I mean, of course he was strong. He's 6'8". But he was a very capable and competent scorer at the junior level in Sweden. Eventually, he took those skills up to Frölunda last season, where playing for the top team in the top league, he had himself 33 points in 52 games played and 6 points in 9 games in the playoffs. As a second-year player, only 20 years old in the SHL, that's really impressive. And seeing Soderblom actually do the things that he was doing, I mean, he scored 21 goals for crying out loud. Take a look at the SHL and the overall goal numbers in the league that season, and you can see that Soderblom was legitimately a top 10 player 4 goals, and that's definitely not an easy feat to accomplish, especially as a second-year full-time Swedish Hockey League player. He then made himself over to the Red Wings in Traverse City and the entire prospect tournament that was going on over there. We had seen him suit up in the preseason, and he actually looked pretty good. And even though he is 6'8", he doesn't play like a 6'8", brute, fee-fi-fo-fum, I'm gonna knock your head in type of player would, if you thought about it off the bat. Elmer Soderblom is a lot more of a skilled player that uses his long reach and his ability to control the puck when it's really far away from him to just cycle around the boards, make sure that it gets by guys, and he's very good at using his body to shield the puck from opponents. He is a very good puck controlling machine, and just watching the very first shift of Soderblom in the NHL in the regular season, yesterday's game against the Montreal Canadiens, Soderblom was like dangling it by a few halves. Sure, he made a few really nice passes back to the point to facilitate play, but a lot of people were psyched out about Elmer Soderblom's ability to what was it, like a one-touch through the legs backhand deke? He overskated the puck a little bit in a battle with 2 or 3 other Canadiens, and he was able to escape that battle by quickly shoving the puck through his legs on the backhand and sending it away from everybody else. He maintained control on the boards, and then the cycle continued. And it's really just small, intricate moments like that that allowed Soderblom to make this team in the first place. Not because he's Connor McDavid or anything, but because he's just so good at allowing the play to progress forward for his team. We had seen that so many times in the preseason, and he had scored some really beautiful and effortless goals because of it. We remember last season in the World Juniors, he scored some through the legs goals, and then this preseason there was the beautiful goal he scored, I believe it was against Chicago, I might be wrong, where he just absolutely dangles the pants out of everybody, walks in front, and roofs it on the backhand. And guess what? The Red Wings beat the Canadiens 3-0 yesterday. 2 of the goals at the end were empty netters, but the 1-0 goal, also scored by Elmer freaking Soderblom. Sure, it wasn't the prettiest goal in the world. There was a rebound out in front, and Soderblom was there to put the biscuit in the basket, but still, he's gone out there with a goal in 1 game played, and he is on pace for 82 goals in 82 games, and of course that's not going to happen, but still, Soderblom has put himself on the map here as a, all of a sudden, legit Calder contender. The reason I say all of a sudden is because I honestly would not have been opposed to the idea of the Red Wings potentially starting Soderblom off in the AHL. We had seen them make that decision with Simon Edvinsson. You could even see with Sebastian Cossa. That guy was sent down to Toledo in the ECHL, so we know the Wings are not scared of sending their prospects down a notch for a little bit more extra development. And for Soderblom, I was kind of like, okay, man, if they want to send me to Grand Rapids, go ahead. We'll just see the guy go out there and score 30 goals and maybe 50, 60 points, and we'll see what he does next season when he's in the NHL. But no, now he's in the NHL, he's playing on a line with NHL caliber guys, and he's looking pretty good. So, you know, yesterday we talked about how Seider won the Calder not because he had the most points, but because he was just such a good player in general. It was a combination of the 50 points that he did score, which wasn't as high as guys like Zegras and Raymond and Michael Bunting, but he was so good in his own zone and so capable as a hockey player in general that the magnitude of how good that was seen as more valuable than the 60-something points that Michael Bunting got as a line mate of Marner and Matthews in the eyes of the voters. So for a guy like Elmer Soderblom, when it comes to the Calder, it really doesn't rely strictly on points in this situation, but at the same time, especially since he's a forward and not a D-man like Seider was, I think points will and should be a little bit more important in this conversation comparative to the Seider conversation. But either way, if Soderblom is given all these opportunities to succeed, if they put him as the net front guy on the power play with Raymond and Larkin, for example, I'm not going to say that's going to happen for sure, but if it's something they tried, then I definitely do think there is an opportunity for a guy like this to maybe get a point quite frequently. I don't want to put a point per game number on it or anything, because I mean, even Raymond isn't a point per game player yet, but if he gets a point every 1.5 games, I'm good with that. Let's actually do the math on that right here quickly. 82 divided by 1.5. He would be on pace for 55 points. I mean, if Soderblom gets 55 points in the NHL as a 6th round pick from 3 years ago, you have a win. Very big win. Like, very literally a big win, because he's a big dude, and the magnitude of how much of a win that is so significant. You gotta remember, Moritz Seider was the first pick by Yzerman. Soderblom was one of the first picks by Yzerman too. Yzerman had his eyes on this guy, and now he's here in the NHL 3 seasons down the line, and I'm talking about him as to whether or not he could be a Calder contender, because he's up there in rookie points at the time of recording this audio. So, Red Wings fans, let me know in the comments all your thoughts about Soderblom. I'm sure the majority of you watching this video have been paying attention to the entire story, the SHL, the draft pick, and everything, and especially the prospects tournament in Traverse City and the preseason, etc., etc. But if you're a Red Wings fan who had not tuned into any of that, you don't care about the prospects, you don't care about Sweden, you don't care about anything, and you just watched the game yesterday, hey, what were your thoughts on this guy? Was he a legit NHL player? Or was he more like an immature, still needs to develop 21-year-old guy from Sweden? Because technically, he is the latter, but he's just a lot better than we thought he would be. So, talk to the console your thoughts about Soderblom. I hope you enjoyed this Juraj Roll 99. And bye.